Hey folks, I hope you're having a lovely summer. So today we will be discussing your exec roles, and this presentation specifically is to give you an overview of your general role as an exec member and how you can assist your residents. We have also uploaded specific exec role videos that you should look at after this presentation. You also need to read through any provided documents in conjunction to these presentations, so make sure you read them properly and you are completing the questionnaires afterwards. So to begin, your return and departure dates. So you, as well as the ACMAN, will be and the RAs will be returning in late August for training. So you are actually arriving a few days before the actual fall semester, and more details about where you can pick up your keys will be sent out in the beginning of August, so not to worry. And in winter you will be arriving at the same time as the rest of the students, and in both cases you will have to depart 24 hours after your last exam. Please note that don't ask other people that are in residence who have arrived prior to our orientation why they're here early. They may feel uncomfortable acknowledging that they are from a particular group or have been unfortunately cut from a sports team. So just ask them where they're from and just get to know them a little better. So the general aspects of each of the exec role has been summarized on the slide here. Presidents, i.e. Obamas, are the team leaders and the overseers and representative of not only your house but exec team as well. Furthermore, you work in conjunction with all roles to ensure things are running smoothly. VP, or our Joe Bidens. Essentially, the VP has the back of the president. If the president is not available for certain events, such as certain tasks, such as the meetings, the VP will assume those responsibilities. So as you can tell, I couldn't find graphics for the SAC treasurer and social chairs. I guess they don't have that in the government system. I'm just kidding. As someone who handles all the money for your housing hall, you have a huge responsibility. You will create budgets for events and make sure things are running in accordance to that. And lastly, our social coordinators. You are in charge of organizing events, and there's a lot of work that goes behind pulling that together, and as such makes you a multitasker, like this lady here. There are obviously some expectations and responsibilities that come for the role in terms of your behavior, socializing, meetings that you have to attend, specifically the DONS meetings, and communication, because you are our people on the ground and we need to be constantly in communication with you. So while you may not be ADs or RAs, you are still residence leaders. And residents can't always tell the difference between these roles, so they just might confide in you. So make sure that you're letting your RA, AD, or DON know if something like that happens, and so they can tell you the next steps that are appropriate for the situation. So for example, if in the first week of class NEMO asks you, are there any places to get tested for STI on campus, you will direct them to an RA because they know a bunch of campus resources. In another situation, they're uncomfortable to approach the RA after you refer to them. So you can just ask the RA that question without giving NEMO's name out and then relay that information back to NEMO. Also, as an exec member, you are a leader in your residence and are expected to know and follow the policies of both residence and the university. A safe and comfortable residence experience can be achieved, but all residence leaders must lead by example in order to maintain such an environment. A residence team that has each other's backs is the key to good living on campus. And failing to follow policies in residence puts RAs in a difficult position. So just be mindful that MTA is a small community, so it is very easy for people to judge others and form quick opinions, which can be difficult to change. So just be mindful of how others may perceive your actions. Be a good role model in a sense. So I'm sure you recall what first year felt like in terms of socializing. You may have even looked to your residence leaders for social direction. Just remember that most students want to meet others and get to know you as well, but initially you'll have to approach them. Making that early connection to include everyone goes a long way in terms of event planning and higher attendance. You can even simply involve them in event planning, such as birthday committees, to help create an inclusive environment. The earlier you get them involved, the more included they will feel. And in midst of all the residents, it's also important you are supportive and understanding of your own fellow team members, whether it's their academic deadlines and whatnot. It's important that you take responsibility for your role so that other team members don't have to, compensate for your work. This is what usually gives rise to a lot of team issues, but it's also okay to ask for assistance. Stepping in for a team member from time to time can be really helpful, but it's important to appreciate the help that your fellow team members are providing you and not just rely on them every single time. If you feel someone is consistently not pulling their weight, you can ask your house president or Dawn to speak with them. Also, there will be events such as house parties where another exec team might need volunteers. So if possible, try to help other exec members out as well, because when the time comes, they're more likely to return that favor when you need the help. So each week, your entire residence team will also gather for meetings with your Dawn. So in this meeting, you will have your ACMN and RAs and AD to discuss the past week's event and how the residents of your house are doing to make sure everyone is on the same page. And then after that, you will have a separate meeting with your Dawn as an exec. So this is just to keep open communication between all residence team leaders to make sure that everyone is doing well. It gives you the chance to bring forth any different behaviors that you might be noticing in residents. As part of the early alert system, you come together as team leaders to discuss if there's something odd going on, and maybe you realize if a certain student is missing a lot of classes, and then another residence leader says, I feel like their grades are slipping. Together you can start to see that maybe they're having trouble coping with certain aspects of university at the moment. Okay. So as a residence executive team, you're not just advocating for yourself, you're a voice for your residents on campus. You are now responsible for representing the interests and concerns of your residents. So listen to the concerns that they have both presented directly to you, or you just kind of hear in passing, someone just muttering in the hall. So if a solution to a problem is not within your scope, you can bring that concern back to us in student life. Now, speaking of student life, remember to check your Mount Allison emails at least twice a day on weekdays, morning and in the late afternoon, as it is the main form of communication between us in student life and you. So if there are any updates or anything, that is our way of speaking with you. But if you need immediate assistance, you can call your residence Dawn or the appropriate Mount Allison service. You can call 911 or the RLM, i.e. Residence Life Manager, for immediate assistance. And last but not least, it might be tempting in the beginning of the year to give out your cell phone number, but it is strongly recommended that you do not post that for your residents. This is so you are not constantly responding to their needs to the point that you don't end up having time for yourself. It is best to point them in the direction of RAs and ACMN so they can then point them to the appropriate resources. When it comes to your exec and your personal life, you are human, and that is your main priority. So therefore, family and your own mental health should be balanced with the following. You didn't come to Mount Allison to be an exec member. Therefore, you should set aside time to balance all your classes with the rest of your extracurriculars and your job. Creating a welcoming and engaging atmosphere for your residents is why you're here in this position, though. It is unfair to your residents and teammates if you do not put the effort. So after, looking after yourself and being a student, it is important that you commit to the role. And lastly, if you have any second jobs or other extracurricular activities, or even simply hanging out with friends, that should not take precedent over your exec responsibilities, because that is something that you have committed to yourself to. And while we've already said extracurricular activities should come after executive, it is still good to have balance. So do get involved with something outside of residence and leave your house once in a while to study. If you feel overwhelmed or stressed, talk to your Dawn. It is okay to feel like you can't handle everything on your plate. It really does get busy during the year, and we truly understand that. So seek out the support that you need. Oftentimes, it's someone on the outside of your life that can help you see the direction you need to take. Alright, so that has been the brief introduction to your exec roles and responsibilities. So please make sure that you are checking out your role-specific videos as well and answering all the questions associated with them. And please make sure to read through the supplementary documents, as they will provide you with resources and detailed information on certain aspects of the topics covered in these presentations. Have a great day!